For all the talk of property tax relief in recent years, Governor Greg Abbott says Texans haven't seen it. This is Wednesday, December 17th, 2025.
Texas Scorecard presents the day's first news for the Lone Star State. The Texas Minute, with your host, Michael Quinn Sullivan.
Well, we are just cruising through the week. Thanks for spending part of your Wednesday with the Texas Minute. A Texas think tank says that the Lone Star State is at greater risk for power outages this winter than we were back in 2021. More on that story coming up. In an interview with Luke Macias, Governor Greg Abbott explains that lawmakers must, in the next legislative session, pass property tax relief that Texans will see and feel. Here's a short clip from that interview.
As I've traveled around the state, I've talked to literally tens of thousands of Texans, and they all tell me that what we've done hasn't moved the needle for them. Their property taxes are still going up, and they demanded more changes. And in my conversations with them, they outline this issue or that issue. And if you look at the plan that I put together, it is the product of having all these visits with tens of thousands of Texans, knowing that what I'm articulating now, what I'm seeking to get past this next session, will move the needle in a way where Texans are going to truly feel property tax relief.
You can find Luke's full interview with Governor Greg Abbott at TexasScorecard.com. Listen to it wherever you consume podcasts or watch it on YouTube. Legislation amending the Endangered Species Act to incentivize wildlife conservation on private lands will be considered by the U.S. House Committee on Natural Resources later today. Although the legislation seeks to reduce regulatory burdens on personal property by making it difficult for the federal government to impose new rules on private property owners, American Stewards for Liberty, a Texas-based group, warns that the measure as it's currently written will sacrifice small landowners for, quote, political expediency and false hopes of bipartisanship. ASL has recommended 7 amendments to the legislation that would reduce the burden of the ESA on small landowners. Republican U.S. Representative Wesley Hunt of Houston is the only Texan on the committee. His office didn't respond to requests for comment about the legislation or the amendments. Despite new state laws and spending since 2021's Winter Storm Uri, a report from the Texas Public Policy Foundation warns that the risk of winter power outages is rising. The report attributes this to increased demand and a roughly stagnant number of dispatchable power generation sources. The Foundation's report explains on-demand power generation sources like natural gas, coal, and nuclear is roughly the same as it was back in 2021. The state's power grid operator, ERCOT, says that more than 31 gigawatts of solar and 18 gigawatts of wind has been added to the grid in the past 5 years, but this is not as helpful as it seems. The Foundation notes that, quote, unless the wind happens to blow at the right time, a half day or more of outages is likely. The Texas Minute will be right back.
News and analysis on what's happening in Texas. End your day with daily headlines from Texas Scorecard. Every day at 5 p.m., join me, Brandon Waltons, as we recap the biggest stories of the day and talk about why they matter to you. From the state capitol to town hall, there's no shortage of events happening. Keep up with it all. Watch and subscribe to Daily Headlines from Texas Scorecard.
So before launching her Republican primary bid for the Texas House, former Willa Park City Council member Amy Fennell repeatedly posted about keeping Donald Trump out of the White House and sharing favorable messages about former Vice President Kamala Harris. Fennell is now challenging incumbent conservative Mike Alcott of Weatherford. Fennell, of course, describes herself as a, quote, proven conservative. She's taken some positions, though, which are causing some to question that assertion. For example, Fennell has argued in favor of both taxpayer-funded lobbying and gun control. In a post just 2 months before the 2024 general election, Fennell called Trump a, quote, treasonous felon after previously mocking Mr. Trump for being the target of assassins. I'm not sure which is worse, the fact that she's running for office as a Republican, or that she isn't smart enough to have cleaned out her social media history. You can find details on all the stories mentioned today and keep up with the latest news by visiting TexasScorecard.com. This edition of the Texas Minute was based on the original reporting of Addie Hovland, Paige Feld, and Brandon Waltons. Producer Nick Shepard gets the Texas Minute delivered to you each weekday morning. I look forward to seeing you out around the Lone Star State. Now go make it a great day.